And then we have this. Fulfill certain conditions to unlock various entries in the Rubicus. Can you unearth all of Orient's secrets? That's the plan. So, for some reason in the PSP version, a lot of times if you tried to look at this, it would, like, freeze the game. So you would have to go and, like, save and then, like, reload your save file in order to look at it. So, luckily we don't have to worry about that here. So we have Annals of Orient. So yeah, as you go through the game, you'll unlock entries into all this stuff. Establishment of the Armory Guilds, Cal XXX512RG. Peace descended upon Orient with the ratification of the Pax Codex, but the document was unable to assuage tensions between the four crystal states. Sensing this serenity might be short-lived, Central Command and the Academia administration worked together to establish the Armory Guild for the purpose of strengthening their military. As the name would imply, the guild existed to develop new equipment for the Dominion legions, and its first objective was to craft potions and other sanative supplies. Later, in the year 533, part of the guild began working exclusively on developing accessories and other gear. The administration designated this branch as the Second Armory Guild in order to distinguish it from the guild responsible for crafting supplies. The Second Armory Guild's accessories amplified the user's magic faculties, and legions outfitted with the newly developed equipment saw a vast improvement in their firepower. Sometime later, Central Command pushed for the creation of a third Armory Guild, to design equipment for chocobos, and a fourth to develop Dominion dreadnoughts. After war broke out in 842, a fifth and sixth Armory Guild emerged to create and manufacture weapons and gear for the legionaries and the cadets respectively. So I kind of love how it kind of has all this lore that you can check out. 10-15-8-832 Marshal Sid Alstein seizes control of the empires. So this is kind of like a timeline. After seizing the reins of military power, Imperial Marshal Sid Alstein began secretly plotting a coup d'etat, which he eventually executed on Tepestamens 15-832 Hiccup RG. I added the hiccup, by the way. The hiccup is not canon to the storyline. The Militested Empire has already established more than enough self-sustaining bureaucratic facilities to mass-produce Magitech armors, so the Emperor had very little actual influence over the government or the military, and only a handful of soldiers were willing to fight for him. The coup d'etat ended without a single drop of blood spilled, and Sid Alstein became the new Militus head of state. He incarcerated the Emperor, took control of the White Peristylium, and placed the White Tiger Crystal under his direct supervision. In taking possession of the crystal, he also took control of the lessee who obeyed its will. Thus, with the crystal and its lessee under his thumb, Sid Alstein became the supreme ruler of the entire Militesi Empire. Fun times. Oct 12-842 RG. Imperial invasion of Rubrum. Just before war broke out in Orient, the Empire devised a three-part campaign to invade the Dominion. The first phase was Operation Solar Eclipse, in which Brigadier General Kador Bashtar, who he was in an opening cutscene, would lead a blitzkrieg attack on the Vermilion Peristylium from the ocean, accompanied by the Provisional 1st Air Mobile Force and a Lessee-piloted Magitech armor. The general's objective was to force Academia to surrender. In the second phase, the Empire's main force would invade Iska, the town where the Dominion's primary defenses were stationed. Militus anticipated a fierce struggle, but in an unfortunate coinkydink, the troops received orders to report to the capital moments after the battle began. The Dominion legionaries retreated, and Imperial troops seized the Dominion's western half while incurring only minimal casualties. The third and final phase involved deploying a fleet of dreadnoughts to infiltrate the Dominion's central and eastern regions. The Empire had to transport personnel and MAs via airship, and the Dominion easily surpassed them in terms of firepower. Here too, Militus anticipated an unrelenting local resistance, but the Rubrum legionaries fled to their capital in hopes of defending her from capture, and the Empire took over the central and eastern regions of the Dominion unimpeded. That's too bad. Oct 12, the Academia Liberation. With Academia on the brink of capitulation, Dominion Central Command ordered all units to report to the capital and provide backup immediately. Unfortunately, the Commandant did not issue the orders until after the Crystal Jammer had completely paralyzed Academia. The fall of the capital nigh inevitable, each unit was left to decide for itself how to advance. Thus the legions were unable to mount proper retreats, and rather than march on Academia, they were instead pursued there by an Imperial militia. By the time the Dominion units reached their destination, every squad had lost the majority of their forces. That's too bad. Nevertheless, the sporadic attacks on the Empire's rear guard slowed the Imperial militia's progress, and the administration rightfully attributed the success rescue of Academia to the actions of these Dominion units. However, the liberation came at a great price, because all legionnaires rallied at the capital. The entire Dominion was left defenseless. Rubrum lost all of its territory, and the Dominion legions effectively went out of existence. That's too bad. Oct 12, the battle begins. What?
For them, the path was not chosen.
They chose their path.
Yes. Not knowing the fear of death.
This is a cutscene we've already seen.
Learned the fear of confronting it.
Yeah. Okay, we've already seen that. So you can watch like the cutscenes again. Some of them are cutscenes. I think if it has a little video icon, that means it's an actual cutscene. So, 3 hours later.
The counterattack took the
Yeah, okay. Okay, 12, Machina and Rem. It is kind of cool how you get all this information, though. Aki 12, enter Brigadier General Kader Bashdar. Yeah, so that's the Brigadier General they were talking about before. Aki 12, Kunmi, the White Tiger Lassie. Yeah. Aki 12, after the battle. Aki 12, cadets cloaked in crimson.
6 hours into the operation.
Quiet you. I love you, narrator, but be quiet. Aqua 12, the structure of Academia. Established to bring the legendary savior Agado into the world, Academia was organized into an educational facility for potential candidates known as Agado cadets. Always makes me think of Kamen Rider Agado. Fun fact. The students were divided into 13 core units known as classes, from the newly formed Class 0 onto Class 12. In addition, Academia housed a reserved class of trainees, students who had not fulfilled the requirements to be promoted to cadet. The sorcery, scholastics, and logistics divisions, along with the administration and armory, were formed to train, support, and educate the student body. The Dominion legions originally existed for the purpose of these fledgling cadets, but with Orients constantly at war, the military branch of Academia tended to have considerable influence in administrative matters. Mobilization, arms production, and deployment of soldiers were crucial components of the country's infrastructure, and with all the Commandant enjoyed more authority than the Chancellor of Academia in regard to national administration. The political structure coincided with both the Academia administration's desire to devote themselves to cultivating Agado, and Central Command's wish to manage the military without interference. As long as the war did not escalate, the country ran smoothly. The war did escalate, however, and Academia was drawn into the fray. With the cadets now assigned to its charge, the military's authority increased even further, and the balance of power was reversed, as Academia was slowly subsumed as a part of the Dominion legions. That's a shame. Aki 12, the Dominion legions. Huh, right onto it. At the onset of the war, Rubrum's military was divided into three: the Western Legion on the Imperial border, the Central Legion defending the capital and its surroundings, and the Eastern Legion on the border with the kingdom. Each legion possessed 6 to 10 mage divisions and a few independent summoning regiments to support the spellcasters. One mage division consisted of 3 separate mage regiments, and each regiment was comprised of approximately 2,000 legionnaires, including support squads. A single division contained almost 10,000 soldiers. Each independent summoning regiment commanded 1 or 2 eidolons. These regiments formed one summoning company, meaning a single company wielded between 3 to 6 eidolons depending on class. However, the legions suffered a crippling blow in the Imperial invasion, and the Dominion lost a majority of its territory, so the 3 legions were effectively disbanded. Although the name Legion remained intact, Rubrum waged war with Militus with a smaller army formed from only a few divisions. Question mark, Aki 12, the Imperial Militia. At the start of the war, the Imperial Militia consisted of 5 armies, from the 1st to the 5th. Each army consisted of 4 to 8 corps, comprised of 4 or so divisions apiece. Magitech armor served as the main offensive force of the armored divisions, while the infantry divisions employed primarily foot soldiers. A single armored division included 300 MAs and 10,000 foot soldiers, whereas an infantry division was made up of about 100 MAs and 15,000 foot soldiers. That's a lot. An additional artillery squad and airship squad provided each of the corps with a total of 60,000 troops per pair, giving each army a combined total of 200,000 to 500,000 soldiers. Altogether, the Imperial Militia was a force of roughly 1,200,000. Damn. Of that number, Imperial Central Command deployed 3 armies worth of soldiers, approximately 700,000 troopers, to demolish the Dominion. Wow. Oct 12, Imperial Dreadnoughts. The Imperial military's dreadnoughts are officially designated as airborne warships, and have been included as the Empire's primary source of aerial firepower ever since the founding of the Imperial Air Force. Makes me think of FF2. Unlike the Dominion military, the Empire utilizes its airships to provide air-to-ground offensive support, as well as transport, Magitech armor, and soldiers. So these craft are bigger and more heavily armed than the ones employed by the Dominion. The airborne warships used against Rubrum were Invincible class, and their stats are as follows. Dimensions 839 by 95 feet. Tonnage 126,583 tons. Damn! Max speed 158 miles per hour. Might as well be a race car. Cruising speed 81 miles per hour. Armament 280mm Mark 10 twin turrets times 28. 155mm Mark .03 cannon by 48. That's some heavy artillery you got there, sir. Oct 12, a new beacon of hope.
Shall drive out the Militesi forces that still unlawfully occupy.
Aki 14, reclaiming Rubrum's lost lands.
Raise the Vermilion Banner.
I don't want to. Aki 14, the Consortium's decision. Okay, settle down, woman. Oct 14, belated introductions. We could see. We could see that embarrassment again. Oct 14, meet Moglin. Nah.
Starting today.
Quiet you. Oct 14, the Quiet Commissary, also known as Aria.
Hi there.
Hi there. Oct 14, it's called a cemetery.
What is this place?
Nah. Oct 14, a relic terminal, Kubo. Love this game.
What's this?
Oct 17, lingering doubts. Lingering down.
Big brother.
Question mark. Yeah, some of these you can't unlock until a second playthrough. Fun fact. Lots of stuff to unlock. Lots of stuff to unlock. Alright. Now we got historical personae, which are basic characters. And yeah, it says 3 out of 6. You'll unlock kind of more information as you go throughout the game. Machina! You can move them around like a pool expert, didn't you know? How cool is that? I think you can, like, close in on them or something. I forget. But whatever. Makina Kinagiri, male 17, height 5'9". I'm taller than him. Weapon twin rapiers. Rem's childhood friend and one of the newest members of Class 0. Makina is easily one of the most talented cadets in all of academia. He holds himself to extremely high standards. Although this makes him appear standoffish at times, talking to him reveals he is in actuality a friendly but serious star pupil. You don't say, man. You don't freaking say. Yeah, you can change the view with select. Only with some characters. They're, I think, less important characters you can't actually do that. I don't know why. You just can't. It's not allowed. You can go to jail for doing that. Severed from their crystal's blessing. During the Miltius assault on Academia, the Imperial forces deployed 2 crystal jammers to suppress the Dominion's magic. One aboard a dreadnought and another built into a Magitech armor. Severed from their crystal's blessing, Rubrum's cadets, legionnaires, and l'Cie were left all but powerless. But when the l'Cie Kunmi stepped out of her MA to engage Dominion legionaries hand-to-hand, Class 0 destroyed the jammer aboard the Imperial dreadnought, temporarily restoring the use of magic and creating an opportunity for cadets like Makina and Rem to launch a counteroffensive. Realizing the danger of the situation, Kunmi quickly returned to her MA and reactivated the second jammer, but it was too late. Class 0 arrived on the scene and made quick work of the device, destroying Kunmi's MA in the process, and foiling the Empire's campaign to capture Academia. And also it'll tell you kind of stats on the character. Mission count, kill count, Phantoma harvested, site kills, casualties, commands executed, impact count, dodges perform impact count. I'm not sure what that actually is, but whatever. Rem! Oh yeah. Woohoo! That's good stuff. Rem Tokamiya, 17, 5'3", twin daggers. She's about average height. This well-mannered and kind-hearted girl recently transferred into Class 0 from Class 7th. Rem is a terrible liar. Even though she insists otherwise, try as she may, she is absolutely unable to fool her closest friends. Friends since childhood, she and Makina maintain a playful academic rivalry. To date, she has outperformed him on all written exams. Ho ho ho! Cadets clad in crimson capes. That's a lot of C's. Students begin their life at Academia as trainees. Those deemed as having potential are promoted to Agado Cadet and trained to become saviors of Orient. Cadets also receive a number of enticing freedoms and privileges, so trainees are encouraged to strive for excellence. The administration then divides the cadets among classes, 1st through 12th, in order to better hone their skills. And each class is distinguished by color. For example, before they transferred, Makina wore indigo with Class 2nd, and Rem used to don a pink cape in Class 7th. Although through the efforts of Dr. Uresia El-Rashia, Sorcery managed to create a special team of cadets outside of the class framework at Academia. This elite group, known as Class 0, wears crimson capes to symbolize the vermilion bird that defends the Dominion. Legend has it that several classes zero have existed in Academia's past, but no records exist. And none alive today possess any first-hand information about such a group. Over the course of their training, the current Class 0 visited Academia with Dr. Al-Rasha on 2 separate occasions. Although they spent most of their time at a remote facility away from the main campus, the 12 members of Class 0 could not escape the prying eyes of their fellow cadets. Many students took note of the heretofore unseen crimson capes, and rumors of a mysterious new class spread like wildfire throughout the school. Nice. Ace! Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. He's freaking Ace, man. Didn't you know that? He's crazy. He's a playable character in Dissidia NT, for God's sake. Male 16. Date of birth, tier X 825. Height 5'6". Weapon cards. In 833 RG, Dr. Al-Rashia took the 8-year-old Ace under her wing and flew him off to a special facility at Academia. There she raised him, and he began a rigorous training program focusing on combat and magic. 9 years later, Ace joined the liberation of Rubicus and officially registered as a Class 0 cadet soon after. His cool exterior masks a bit of a reckless streak, but he means well in all he does. In this world where memories of the dead are erased from the minds of the living, Ace is one of the few who can empathize with those who suffer pangs of loss and shed tears for the fallen. A rather sensitive boy, Ace occasionally finds himself humming the song Dr. Al-Rashia used to sing to him when he was younger. That's nice. Mission count 1. Kill count 50, 23 Phantoma harvested, 14 sight kills, 2 casualties, idiot, 921 commands executed, 51 impact counts, and 202 dodges performed. Well. Deuce! Deuce and Domino. Da 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 da. Female 16, date of birth Oct 826, height 5'2". She's a shorty. Weapon flute. The Sorcery Division took Deuce into their custody when she was a mere 7 years old, and quickly initiated her training. She demonstrated a natural talent for casting defense magic, a talent she put to good use in the Rubicus liberation of 842. She enrolled in Class 0 not long after the operation. Warm and welcoming, Deuce is respectful and understanding towards everyone she meets. However, she is also quite serious and straightforward, and her stubborn adherence to what she believes is occasionally met with frustration. That's a shame. She hasn't been used at all. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Trey Parker. Da-na-na-na-na. Look at that messy hairdo, little fart knocker. 17, date of birth Pet 1/825, height 6 feet. Still taller than you, sir. Weapon bow. Raised at a special facility at Academia since the age of 8. Trey studied the art of combat under the tutelage of Dr. Al-Rashia herself. He participated in the liberation of the Dominion 9 years later, and joined Class 0 immediately afterwards. Cool, calm, and collected inside and out, Trey takes pains to maintain a pristine image, lest someone find some flaw they might exploit. He's extremely eager to share his impressive breadth of knowledge with anyone within earshot. However, Trey's unfortunate audience usually tires of his endless exposition, and listeners often cut him off mid-explanation. Well, that's rude. That is so rude, man. Cater. Dunno, she's got a backpack, apparently. That's always exciting. 16, date of birth, Gala 9/825, height 5'3", another average height. Weapon, Magicite pistol. I guess she keeps her pistols in the book bag thing, like whatever. Cater is trained at one of Sorcery's special facilities since the age of 8, studying how to wield a Magicite pistol and cast all sorts of spells. She finally put her skills to the test in 842 when the Militesi Empire invaded Academia and passed with flying colors. She later joined Ace and the others as a member of Class 0. There is no beating around the bush with Cater. She is very clear about what she wants and extremely confident that she can obtain it. She tends to be impulsive at times, but her honest, off-the-cuff style can be rather refreshing. Cater hates losing, and she refuses to let anyone or anything get her down. She keeps Magicite in her knapsack to power her magic pistols, and don't even think about touching it. Ho ho ho! Sync. Nice ponytail you got there, Miss Thing. 16, date of birth Ign 12/826, height 5'4". Oh, she's the tallest female so far. Weapon, mace. In 833, Dr. Al-Rashia whisked Sinke off to a special center near Academia in hopes of honing her destructive tendencies. When asked which weapon she thought would best suit her, Sink replied, "If you're gonna hit somebody, you might as well hit them super duper hard." Well said. She proved quite capable with a mace, and she was finally able to put her abilities to good use during the Rubrum liberation of 842. Her official induction into Class 0 came shortly thereafter. Sync walks and talks to the beat of her own drum. Her lovably offbeat personality always keeps people guessing as to what stunt she'll pull next. In spite of her ostensible obliviousness, however, Sync is surprisingly perceptive. She will occasionally strike right at the heart of the matter, shocking those around her, without even realizing the profundity of what she said. Cease! "16, date of birth Sil, 13, 825, height 5'5", the tallest yet. Weapon Scythe. Raised at Academia since the age of 7, Scythe immediately demonstrated a prowess for combat and a dislike of socializing. Dr. Al-Rashia sought to cultivate the former and develop a rigorous training program. At the age of 16, Scythe joined the Dominion Liberation Campaign and helped reclaim Academia. The administration officially assigned her to Class 0 after the campaign. Foul-mouthed and ferocious, she curses a lot. Scythe is quick to criticize other shortcomings and not spare them a second thought. She loathes getting bogged down by other people's problems, a firm believer in the survival of the fittest. Despite her hard exterior, however, she takes any affront to heart. Each and every offense fuels the flames of her vindictive spirit, driving her to fight even further. 7! Ho ho ho! "17, date of birth Cal, 23, 824, 5'7". We got a new champion in the tallest female. There we go. That's good stuff. Weapon Whip Blade, so she's got the whip. Sorcery took 7 into their custody in 833, and they quickly discovered she possessed a propensity for casting ice magic. Using these spells, she made quick work of the Imperial forces in the Dominion liberation of 842, and in turn secured herself a spot in Class 0. Despite her cold appearance, 7 is actually quite nurturing. She enjoys the admiration of her female underclassmen, many of whom often refer to her as Big Sis. 7 has a hard time saying no when asked for favors, though, and this self-same generosity puts more work on her plate than anticipated. Nevertheless, her reliable nature and tendency towards action are precisely why so many cadets look up to her. Commands executed 47. 21 dodges. She did kind of jump into the middle of the mission, so... 8! It's 8, goddammit! Mr. Punch! Mr. One Punch Man, or something like that. Whatever that means. 16. 10... 30, 825, height 5'5". Weapon Knuckles. He throws punches. Quick on his feet, 8 caught the attention of Dr. Al-Rashia at a young age. She escorted him to a facility near Academia, where he began training his small frame and honing his skills. In 842, 8 took part in the campaign to fend off the invading Empire. Impressed with his performance, the administration assigned him to Class 0. Unlike his classmates, 8 despises all forms of weaponry because they trivialize the human lives they take. He has a keen perception of everything happening around him, which allows him to make wise judgments on the fly. Even though he tries to keep his emotions in check at all times, 8 also has a bit of a competitive side. It's not a height complex, though. Of course not. 9. Ooh. He's the tallest character so far. Heh. 17. Date of birth Aqui, 13, 820, height 6'1". Still taller than you, sir. Weapon Spear. Hoping to channel his abundant energy into something more productive, Dr. Al-Rashia moved 9 to a facility outside Academia at the age of 8. There she offered him a rigorous training regimen. Still somewhat uncontrollable, 9 joined the sortie against the Imperial Army in the Rubrum liberation of 842, and annihilated all who stood in his way. Dragoon style. The administration took a liking to his tenacity and designated him a Class 0 cadet. Impulsive and very intense, 9 shoots from the hip and doesn't really worry about the consequences. In fact, he prides himself in his ability to act without overthinking. Even though some of his classmates chide him for not thinking enough, 9 reboots, however, that his seemingly rash decisions usually work out for the best. Most of the time, anyway. Except for that time, well, that was awkward, but let's not get into that. He has a hard time dealing with situations that aren't black and white, and he'll break whatever he needs to in order to make clear what's right and what's wrong. 1 mission count, 30 commands executed, 18 impact count. That's fun. Jack! There's the fart knocker. 16, date of birth 10/17/825, height 5'11", weapon katana. Sorcery was quick to bring Jack in for training, sensing great potential. At Sorcery's Special Center near Academia, Jack studied the way of the warrior, and he first put his skills to the test defending the Dominion against an Imperial assault in 842. His outstanding performance earned him a spot in Class 0. With a smile on his face and a joke on the tip of his tongue, Jack is known as Class Clown 0. No matter what prickly predicament he and his classmates fall into, Jack always puts a positive spin on the situation. Although his unfaltering optimism should theoretically inspire his classmates, his glib nature prevents the rest of Class 0 from taking his words of encouragement too seriously. That's too bad. 44 commands executed, 5 dodges performed. Huh. Queen! Oh yeah, it's Queen, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody likes Queen, except for those that don't. 17, date of birth Ign, 24/8/25, height 5'5", weapon longsword. Dr. Al-Rashi immediately recognized Queen's impressive intellect. At the tender age of 8, Queen moved to the center outside of Academia to train as a prospective Agado cadet. She demonstrated a particular prowess for casting lightning spells, and she employed those magic skills against the Empire in the Liberation Campaign of 842. The decision to assign her to Class 0 was unanimous. A wise young woman of implacable integrity, Queen's personality is as straightforward as the longsword she wields. She is intolerant of all forms of injustice, and her rigid sense of morality has earned her the nickname of Class Leader. She is not Class Leader, she will have you know. Queen tends to make harsh comments, but she bears no ill will. 1 mission count, 1 kill count, 42 commands executed, 20 impact count, 1 dodge is performed. King! It's King! Mr. Mullet. He's got a mullet, because why the beep not? 17, date of birth K, 7/8/24, height 6'1", another 6'1" dude. Dual handguns. A quiet child, King usually kept to himself. Dr. Al-Rashia, however, detected great potential in him, and in 833, she brought him back to Sorcery's Development Center near Academia and began training him personally. He took to combat like a chocobo to the racetrack, and he proved his prowess during the Dominion Liberation Campaign in 842, joining Class 0 after the mission. A young man of few words, King prefers to take action rather than waste time exchanging ideas. Even in matters of life and death, he maintains his composure, making rational decisions and acting upon them immediately. Some view his reticence as cool, but others misconstrue him as cold and aloof. In actuality, he's quite thoughtful. Unfortunately, however, his kindness doesn't always come across as clearly as he thinks it does. Kinda reminds me of me. What the beep? Okay. Chancellor Cheval the Sixth. He's basically our leader, more or less. Oh, look at this punk-ass bitch. My god. 174th Chancellor of Dominion. Male 62. Height 6'1". Chancellor Cheval serves as both headmaster of Academia and chief executive of the Dominion of Ruberum. He enjoys recognition in his youth as a great mage, and he is similarly respected and admired by his colleagues at present. Chancellor Cheval places great importance on order and authority, and he endeavors to embody both as a model for the denizens of the Dominion, radiating composure. The Chancellor often makes visits to villages around the Dominion, preaching the gospel of the Vermilion Bird Crystal. The Dominion of Rubrum. Rubrum's governing body, the Consortium of Eight, is headed by Academia Chancellor Kalia Cheval VI. The Dominion is the most verdant nation in Orience, boasting the stablest climate. Using the blessing of the Vermilion Bird Crystal, her people have developed their own tools and technology. Humans are not the only denizens of Rubrum. Gentle creatures such as Moogles and Chocobos also inhabit the Dominion, peacefully coexisting with the populace. Nice. Dr. Al-Rashia. Ha ha ha. Always got that pipe. She's a smoker. Didn't you know? She's definitely a smoker. That's a fact. Female age unknown. That's suspicious. Height 5'5". Head of the Sorcery Division and the most influential member of the Consortium of Eight, Dr. Al-Rashia carries herself with an air of authority and intrigue. Ace and his classmates refer to her as Mother, but she bears no biological relation to any of the Class 0 cadets. Although she is brilliant enough to single-handedly facilitate the development and improvement of the Dominion's magic, the Doctor has also earned a reputation for her rather brash and daring demeanor. She has maintained a powerful presence at Academia for as far back as anyone can remember, but no one knows exactly how long she has held her position. Probably a really long time. Commander Kirasame, who's basically a ninja. Male, 26, 5'10", an Academia Tribune and Class 0 commanding officer, Kirasame is a no-nonsense straight-shooter of a man, also known as the Ice Reaper. He literally sends chills down his enemy's spines, frost emanating from his boreal blade. Once celebrated as one of the 4 champions of Rubrum, Kirasame chose to remain at Academia to help educate and assist fledgling cadets. He takes a very stern attitude towards all students regardless of class, a tendency that has earned him the scorn of less understanding cadets. Nevertheless, he remains quite popular among the female portion of the student body, doubtless because of his dashing good looks, even though they can't really see most of his face, but I digress. The Commandant. Oh, this fart knocker. Do-do-do-do-do. You can't get a close-up on him, I guess, because he's not important enough. Suzuhisa Higato, age 53, height 5'6". Leader of the Dominion Legions and a member of the Consortium of Eight, the Commandant is quick to decide and even quicker to anger. He's got an anger problem, didn't you know? His impulsive, explosive nature tends to overwhelm his colleagues, but Dr. Al-Rashia never seems to lose an argument with him. He boasts a long and extensive military career, as well as knowledge of all military matters in the Dominion. He is less proud, however, of his high blood pressure and rapidly receding hairline. That's a shame. The Cadet Master. Oh, you. Can't get a close-up of this punk. Miotsk Offmachet, female, 48, height 5'3", average height. The Cadet Master serves as chairwoman of the Academia Administration. Of all the members of the Consortium of Eight, she is the one most sympathetic to the cadets' cares and concerns. She is well versed in Dominion history, able to recite dates and facts with incredible ease. The Cadet Master also possesses an impressive knowledge of Eidolons, despite having only a tangible affiliation with sorcery. She's well educated, apparently. The Provost. Okay. No close-up. Male, 66, height 5'9". Head of the Scholastics Division, the Provost is easily the most cautious and calculating member of the Consortium of Eight. His genius-level intellect intimidates most of his colleagues, but his breadth of knowledge is undeniably impressive. Many at Academia find the Provost's demeanor to be condescending, but he bears no ill will. He just knows himself to be better than everyone else and has no inhibitions about acknowledging his superiority. Sounds like a fart knocker to me. The Commissar. No close-up. Tazuru Kiska, female 50, 5'3". As chairwoman of logistics, Commissar Kiska spends a good portion of her time negotiating strategies and allocating supplies and personnel. She appears relaxed and demure, but as her colleagues in the consortium know, her carefully chosen words can be quite piercing when discussing important issues, striking right at the heart of the matter. Question mark. We don't have this person yet. What a little bastard. Here we got more people. Arya! Of course, she gets a close-up. She's more important than those last few people. Apparently. Arya Lurikara, female 15. 4'9"! Oh my god, she's a short little thing. Good lord. This barely audible orderly was assigned to assist Class 0. She never speaks unless spoken to, and even when she doesn't say much, but one cannot help but sense something buried behind her breathy muttering and mumbling. He's like insanely shy. She's only 15. Moogle Class 0. Meh. You can't get a close-up of the Moogle because it's already kind of a close-up. Hachkiya Latoshia Iripokachi. Gender and age unknown. Height 2'1". Okay, that's the shortest character in the game, I'm pretty sure. 2'1". And that's including Pom Pom. Officially known as the Military Operation Organization Guidance Logistics Expert, or Moogle, Z provided crucial support for Class 0 during the liberation of Academia. One of the youngest Moogles at the school, Z did not belong to a particular group of cadets until Class 0 showed up, at which point the administration selected her for the job. That's fun. Moogle classes 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Class 1st Moogle. They take pride in his position as assistant to Class 1st, long regarded as the strongest cadets in the Dominion. Ever since Class 0 came along and upstaged her kids, however, Z has come to view the Crimson Cape cadets as rivals. This Moogle expects the most of herself and others, but Z also bears great respect for anyone who puts forth a solid effort. Z will even reward Class 0 in accordance with the amount of time they have spent exploring Orient. Nice. Class 2nd Moogle. Highly confident in herself and her class, 2nd Cadets, Z can come off as somewhat overbearing, often offering her sound advice without being asked. Don't you hate those kind of people? However, Z has also enjoyed great success on the battlefield, so her words of wisdom, welcome or otherwise, come from a place of considerable experience. Class 3rd Moogle. Detached and honestly quite depressing, Z is a Moogle of few words. Z is rather shy, rarely speaking unless spoken to. Once you get to know her, however, Z will transform into an ever-flowing fountain of sarcasm and negativity. Still, her persistent pessimism is just part of the charm. Pretty much. Moogle's classes 4th, 5th, and 6th. Compassionate and kind-hearted, her pleasant personality is quite befitting of the Moogle in charge of Academia's healing class. Z cares deeply about the well-being of all cadets regardless of class or assignment, occasionally working herself into a state of worried anxiety. Z also tends to believe anything Z hears, and said gullibility leads her to be a little too trusting. Class 5th Moogle. Love, friendship, hard work, justice, and your bros, according to her. Those 5 things and all one needs to succeed in life. Z is a passionate Moogle, encouraging her Class 5th cadets and all others to do their best and strive for greatness. Less impassioned cadets, however, are quick to dismiss her sermons, countering with detached derision. Class 6th Moogle. A bit of an airhead, this Moogle always seems to have her head in the clouds. Z speaks their mind with no filter, unaware of social taboos and faux pas. Z also has a bit of an inferiority complex, harboring one-sided feelings of rivalry towards the more celebrated black mages in Class 3rd, in particular towards the Class Moogle. That's a damn shame, man. Oh, right, you can push left or right to see the different Moogles. So, that's a thing. I think you can do those with the others as well. Yeah. So it's kind of a neat little thing. Except for that one. Can't do that with that one. 7th, 8th, and 9th. Class 7th Moogle. This scatterbrained Moogle always tries her hardest, but always comes up short of her goal. Nevertheless, Z always means well, and Z only works so hard because Z cares deeply about her cadets. The healers in Class 7th acknowledge her good intentions and think very highly of her. Class 8th Moogle. Meh. The chivalrous Moogle has taken upon herself the admirable task of collecting knowing tags, once belonging to those who fell in battle. Keep that in mind, because that'll be important later. Z fancies herself a noble soul, even going out of her way to reward any cadet who retrieves IDs from the field and returns them to her. Class 9th Moogle. Meh. Nice eye patch. It's like a gear. Much like the allegedly good-for-nothing losers Z oversees, this Moogle is nothing but a fun-loving fool, or at least so Z would like others to believe. In actuality, however, Z is composed and cautious, and her cadets are agents from Dominion Intel's Section 4. Given the nature of Class 9's secret missions, this Moogle has a great deal of empathy with the Class 0 cadets. Nice. Moogle's classes 10th, 11th, and 12th. Meh! Look at those spectacles. Class 10th Moogle. Convinced of her scholastic superiority, this Moogle fancies herself quite the intellectual. In spite of her elitist attitude, however, her comments occasionally miss the mark. Of course, Z bears no ill will. In fact, Z has every intention of assisting others with her advice. The condescending tone is purely coincidental. Class 11th Moogle. Oh, look at that thing. The true intellectual among the Moogles at Academia, Z is devoted to her research. Z would even go so far as to pawn her pom-pom for the sake of science. A quick thinker, Z has a lot on her mind, and is more than willing to share those thoughts with whomever will listen. And 12th Moogle. Nah. Charged with controlling a class of unfettered free spirits, this Moogle has clearly reached her wit's end. The Class 12th cadets' lack of cooperation has driven her to neurosis. More than anything, Z hopes to find a way for her cadets to utilize their talents and make a positive contribution to society. Unfortunately for her, however, the kids have nary a concern for Dominion society, seeing as they are all doing quite well in their own little worlds. Alright, Rubrum Tonberry. Ho 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 ho! Look at that badass MFer. Male, age unknown, height 2'1". 2'1". Talk about a shorty. Born on the Isle of the Dragon Sanctuary, this Tonberry serves as Kirasame's attendant, injured in a skirmish with a lesser Lopros. Tonberry was immobilized and struggling to survive when Kirasame stumbled upon him and saved his life. Tonberry shared the story of the kind young man who rescued him, and the Tonberries in and around Amateur have been friendly towards humans ever since. Eager to repay his debt to Kirasame, Tonberry typically stays out of the spotlight, standing behind his savior and giving Kirasame the extra push he needs. Nothing makes Tonberry happier than helping out the young man who saved him, but he rarely puts those feelings into words. And rather than the usual kitchen knife Tonberries have, it has more of like an Iron Giant sword. For whatever reason. I guess that's cool. Question mark. Izana! Who's Izana? Doo-doo-doo-doo. Nice baggy cargo pants you got there, punk. You get a close-up. Male, 21, height 5'9", Machina's brother and a prominent Dominion legionary. Izana received a set of special orders at the beginning of the Academia Liberation. His objective was to cut through enemy lines and cross the battlefield in order to deliver a communication device to Ace. Determined to make his little brother proud, Izana set out to complete his mission. Little did he know, however, this mission would be his last, so that was the dude that died in the opening, unfortunately. Machina's brother. Aki! She's kind of like an advisor, I believe, kind of thing. Like a guide. She doesn't get a close-up. That's crap. Female 17, Aki Minahara, height 5'3". A model student from class first, Aki is sociable and caring, treating everyone she meets with respect and compassion. Her goal is to become Agito and restore peace to Orients, and she spares no effort to that end. She also has a younger sister, Fuyu, who currently studies as a trainee. Fuyu tends to live in her sister's shadow, but Aki is always there to watch over her little sis, and encourage her to work hard and step out into the light once in a while. Tachinami! Oh boy. You got a cape, cause you're a cool dude or something, but you don't get a close-up. You're not that important, sir. Tachinami Sho, male 26, height 5'8". One of the youngest tribunes at Academia. I think tribunes are basically like generals or whatever. Tachinami relays orders to Class 0 on large-scale missions and coordinates the time until the cadets march. He and Kasumi serve as liaisons between Class 0 and the Dominion Legions. Pure at heart and firm in his convictions, Tachinami is one of the few straight arrows in an army of rough and rowdy soldiers. He is so serious that he rarely picks up on jokes, and some of his comrades tend to feel awkward around him. He's a very serious dude. Something else he fails to notice. Tachinami is not the ambitious type, but he is extremely talented, effortlessly completing any task assigned to him. General Bashtar. Now we're getting into the enemies and such. He definitely gets a close-up. He's got an eye patch. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Kader Bashtar. Male 28, height 6'3". We're the same height, didn't you know? What's up with that? I bet I'm still a little bit taller. I'm just throwing it out there. A member of the Miltesi nobility and a brigadier general in the Imperial Army, Kader Bashtar serves as Marshal Alstein's right-hand man, but not perhaps without some reservations. Nevertheless, General Bashtar is the finest MA pilot in the Empire, and he often assists in the development of new models by testing them out himself. In spite of his rank, he also accompanies his men out onto the front lines, often turning the tide of battle with his own two hands. His military prowess has earned him several epithets, such as White Thunder, the White Reaper, and the Unscathed. That's fun. Kyunmi, the White Tiger. Woohoo! She doesn't get a close-up. What's up with that? Kyunmi Chue, female 24, height 5'3". The Secundus Lacy of the White Tiger Crystal, Kyunmi possesses the special ability to manipulate all sorts of armaments and amplify their powers beyond mortal limits. Confident and perhaps even conceited, she does not take kindly to being outdone or upstaged. That said, she has not been a Lacy for very long, so she has acquiesced to her current position, for now. Any more? Nope. Okay, Eidolon Arcana. We have nothing here. Nothing! Apparently we know nothing of Eidolon Arcana. That's sad. Enemy Compendium. Basically the Bestiary. Imperial Trooper. Oh, kill count 43. He's an Imperial Trooper, man! Such as this one, comprise nearly 80% of the entire military forces. All those ranked officers or below are fundamentally required to don the same green garb, so green is like the basic uniform. Whereas higher-ranking officials often received enhanced armor. The military outfits each of these troopers with the same Type 41 bayonet-equipped automatic rifle. Look at that thing. An improved model that features a drum magazine with increased capacity, thus allowing soldiers to remain active for longer periods of time. This 15mm caliber rifle provides excessive force against human combatants, but proves nigh ineffective against monsters and eidolons. In such unfavorable situations, regular soldiers must rely on the Empire's Magitech armor for backup if they wish to survive. We killed 43 of them. Super Soldier. We've killed one of them. Oh boy. Look at this Spartan knocker. He looks like such a pool expert. The name Super Soldier may be somewhat of a misnomer, pretty much. There is nothing super about the soldier himself. Rather, what is truly remarkable is the technology used to improve his performance. Imperial scientists discovered that they can use a modified sea engine to extract energy from the White Tiger crystal and artificially enhance a trooper's physical capabilities. Super soldiers clearly stand apart from their common counterparts in terms of both strength and endurance. Moreover, scientists have included a system in the trooper's armor that will automatically administer a strength serum, enhancing the super soldier's strength and agility exponentially. Imperial Central Command issues this valuable armor almost exclusively to a few high-ranking commanders in each squad, although all members of certain elite units are outfitted with this special gear. Coolio. RPG-155 Gunner. Oh! He's got the rocket launcher! We've killed 3 of these fart crackers. Outfitted with Type 38 155mm anti-personnel recoilless rifles, these soldiers are extremely helpful for taking out human enemies, more specifically Dominion legionaries. So long as the operators can maintain a proper distance, their shots can tear right through the Dominion's defenses, including wall and protect spells. Yeah, if you see one of these guys in a battle, you want to go for them first, because they're really annoying. Conversely, gunners are at a considerable disadvantage in close quarters combat, and the ever so slight recoil from their not exactly recoilless rifles leaves them quite vulnerable after firing. Yeah. Nimrod. Oh, we've killed 3 of these fart crackers. And Nimrods are actually in FF14 and Baja. Spelled differently, but, you know, what you gonna do, man? Developed to increase the mobility of the Empire's artillery units, this tripod mech was constructed in a facility separate from the steelworks. In that sense, the A-43 self-propelled 175mm cannon is not technically an MA, but it is canon, a fun fact. Semantics aside, however, the Nimrod functions much like any of the Empire's other mechs, and may be considered a Magitech armor for all intents and purposes. Well, more or less. The Nimrod's built-in rapid-fire 175mm cannon allows it to effectively combat enemies approaching from both air and land across a wide range. Designed to function as a moving battery, this mech has only one rear leg which absorbs the shock of recoil. Although this cannon is nowhere near as mobile as its MA brethren, its simple design lends itself to mass production, and the Empire has deployed Nimrods to all corners of Orient since the outbreak of war. Alright. Warrior! It's a warrior! We've killed one of them, because we've only seen one of them. There's a dude in it. Now that's a Magitech armor, ladies and gentlemen. An improved version of the Striker, the Warrior is officially designated as S-242 Terrain MA Mark IV. Military officials denounced the Striker's howitzer for its inaccuracy against the Dominion legions when fired from a distance. Conversely, they praised its performance in close quarters, and they thus set out to create a new, even more effective model. The result of their hard work was the Warrior. Equipped with a claw instead of a gun, this new MA functions just as officials anticipated, and officials began deploying the Warrior all over Orient. However, as newer models began to take prominence, this model's popularity started gradually waning. That's a shame. Daneslav. Also the name of a character in Genshin Impact. And this dude's also in FF14. We've killed one of them. Actually looks like exactly the same, too. The first Magitech armor produced exclusively for a lessee, the Dainsleff was also the first Militesi mech equipped with crystal jamming capabilities. Scientists in the Empire's R&D division incorporated some of the same technology used in the simultaneously developed Vajra, emphasizing maneuverability over combat performance. Eager to test their new MA, the Empire deployed the Dainsleff in their invasion of Academia, and its crystal jammer succeeded in cutting the Dominion legions off from the source of their magic power. However, Class Zero quickly disposed of the device, and although the Secundus Lessee Kunmi managed to reactivate the Dainsleff, it was no match for Rubram's legendary cadets. You damn right it wasn't. Punk. You got a lot more enemies to find out there. Record of service. What is that? We don't have any record of service, apparently. Code of Academia. System missions, map of Orients. So you can basically read up on the tutorial stuff, changing characters and triggering events. Some events at Academia can only be triggered by using certain characters. Attempting to initiate an event with a different character will earn you a hint as to who will trigger the sequence. Change active members at Relic Terminal, so I've kind of explained that. Free time and important icons. You have 12 hours of free time in one day. Pay attention to characters with the following icons floating above their heads, yeah. Finding your next destination. When you open the field menu, a mark on the map will indicate where you need to go. Follow the vermilion bird to reach your next destination. Advancing to mission day. If you are ready to march, speak with Tachinami, or in his absence, Kasumi, in Central Command to skip ahead to mission day regardless of how much free time you have left. Advancing time will cancel all incomplete events and requests. Aborting missions, if you're a loser. If you have lost too many cadets and feel you are unable to complete the mission, select Abort Mission from the field menu to quit the campaign like Vegastar and return to Academia. Your squad will lose all items, Phantoma and SPP obtained, but retain all experience and AP earned. So that's a good way to, gain levels if you want to do that. If all members die in battle, however, they will lose everything earned and restart from the last save point. So you don't want that to happen. Adjusting the difficulty. Adjust the difficulty from relic terminals around Orients. Yeah, calm down. Backup from Academia. You can call for backup from Academia to receive support from fellow cadets. Reduce the damage allies take and earn support personnel points. An SP member will join your squad and fight alongside your leader for a short time. However, SP units' casualties will be counted in your final mission grade. Adjust backup settings from options under the Preferences subheading of the field menu. Support personnel SP and SP rank. The support personnel are cadets who provide backups on missions. Requesting backup earns support personnel points and boosts your SP rank. Earn a higher SP rank to access exclusive spells and equipment. SPP post. Earn support personnel points by requesting backup from other cadets. Exchange SPP for items at the SPP post in Central Command. It's a lot of P's. Like, damn. Missions. Moving and looking around. So that just kind of tells you the button sets. Fundamentals of attacking. Locking on and switching targets. We've kind of been through all of this. Casting spells. Abilities in the ability gauge. Dodging and defending. Yeah, if you have like a defensive spell, you have to hold it down to begin casting it, and then release it. But that's pretty obvious. Kill sight and break sight. When locked onto a target, a colored mark indicates vulnerability. Attack an enemy with a yellow mark to deal massive damage, and it usually stuns them. Red mark to instantly kill them. Phantoma collection. Harvesting Phantoma in battle. Primed status. Certain squad formations grant active members primed status at the start of missions. These cadets receive aura and trance status and also take less damage. So it's like buffs. Energy wall. Neutralize energy walls that block your path by collecting Phantoma. Or by defeating enemy leaders or enemies marked with a special icon on your radar, so sometimes you'll have to defeat certain enemies in order to move on to the next area. Recovering HP, stand still. Putting away your weapon will increase the rate at which you recover HP. But also increase the amount of damage you take because you're like not defending and such, so whatever. Status enhancements and ailments, here we go. So burn, deals damage for a set period of time. Freeze, disables movement. Shock, deals damage for a set period of time, so shock and burn are kind of the same thing. Poison continuously depletes HP. Silence disables allies' use of magic. Stun disables enemy movement. Stop disables movement. Kill sight deals instant death when struck. Prime grants allies aura and trance status. Aura doubles power of physical attacks. Trance doubles power of magical attacks. Regen gradually restores HP. Haste doubles movement speed. Quick halves allies' casting time. Protect halves physical damage received. Invisible grants allies invisibility, stand-up adventure style. Re-raise automatically resurrects allies when they die. Endure prevents flinching, so there's like no knockback basically. Rage grants enemies aura, haste, and endure status. I'm pretty sure West Ham Sandwich has permanent rage. Free cast reduces allies' MP cost to 0. Barrier protects enemies from magical attacks, and Invincible prevents all damage. Oh boy. Bob Ross football style. Recovery portals. They appear in various locations. Stand on the portals to fully recover your HP, MP, and AG. The portals will disappear after one use. You know how it goes. Switching active leaders. Yes. The only problem with switching is it depletes your ability gauge. So keep that in mind. Leveling up. Cadets who participate in combat will receive experience points and level up. What do you know? Squad members not currently participating in combat remain on standby in the reserves. Those who remain in the reserves throughout a mission will not earn experience or level up. However, some cadets perform better than others depending on the circumstances. Prepare for anything by training all of your cadets evenly, then utilize their unique strengths to gain the upper hand in battle. Adjust your squad formation at relic terminals mid-mission and deploy your reserves, or replay completed missions from missions on the title screen to train other cadets. When one of your active squad members falls in battle, they get made fun of on the internet for years to come. Press up to replace him or her with a cadet from the reserves. Losing all cadets will result in a game over screen. Interactive switches. An arrow appears over switches and other important objects. Press A to interact with an object. Nice. Enemy leaders. The leader of an organized enemy unit is marked with a distinct icon. Defeat the leader to end combat immediately. Enemy flight and surrender. Remaining enemies start to flee when their leader falls. Stragglers attempting to escape will be inflicted with kill sight status, so you can kill them automatically. Those who fail to flee the area will surrender. Approach and press A to acquire items from them. I think there's achievements involved with doing that, so we want to do that. Relic terminals, basically save points. Question mark. We don't have these yet. Special orders. Alright, special orders. Map of Orients. You can look at different stuff here, but we don't have anything unlocked yet because we're at the beginning of the goddamn game, and yeah. Okay, that was some quality time spent, wasn't it? Ooh.